I'm going to give you my reaction to this Fury Wilder trilogy fight press conference. I thought the energy was dead overall. I thought that Tyson Fury was trying very, very hard to get a rise out of Deontay Wilder. And for the most part, Wilder didn't really take the bait. He managed to stay calm and stay cool. And I have to credit his team for that, because Deontay Wilder is not a very intelligent man, but sometimes that can actually be an advantage if you are his team, because a more intelligent person might overthink things. Remember, he's coming back from a devastating stoppage defeat. A more intelligent guy might overthink things. The demons might get to him a bit more. But with a guy like Deontay Wilder, who's not very bright, all you need to do is put a certain narrative in his head, a certain fantasy in his head to comfort him. And that might be enough. It's kind of like the old Disney movie Dumbo with the little elephant that's got big ears. Dumbo is given a magic feather. And with this magic feather, he believes he can fly. But the reality is, Dumbo doesn't actually need the magic feather. He can fly without it. The magic feather is just there to give him belief. You see, something to pin his beliefs and hopes on, and something to comfort him, to give him the confidence to be able to fly. That's what they've given Deontay Wilder with all these fantasies and all this nonsense. It's just something to comfort him psychologically. So whether or not the fantasy is true is kind of irrelevant. It's whether it has the desired effect of giving Deontay Wilder that self-belief back. And based upon what I saw here at his press conference, it's at least worked to some extent, because Wilder seemed very, very calm. And I personally think that the calmer Deontay Wilder is, the better it is for him. I think that Tyson Fury knows that the more emotional Deontay Wilder is, the better it is for the Gypsy King. Because if you remember the first fight, he got under Wilder's skin. Wilder came out very fiery, slinging shots, wasting a lot of energy. And by the 12th round, even though he dropped Fury, he was the one hanging on after Fury got up because he was so tired. That's the first time I'd really seen Deontay absolutely dog tired. So Tyson Fury wants Deontay Wilder to waste a lot of energy in the build-up to the fight. That's what he was trying to do here. Deontay managed to stay calm. His team were around him. Shelly Finkel came and whispered in his ear, and Tyson Fury rightly said, yeah, that's it, Shelly. Tell him what to say. Tell him what to think. That's what Deontay's like. You know, this guy doesn't have many thoughts of his own. Probably only 3 or 4 thoughts rattling around in his head at any one time. So, yeah, Tyson Fury, I thought, maybe wasted a bit of energy himself trying to get Deontay to take the bait. Tyson Fury likes to get under his opponent's skin. He likes to either anger them, intimidate them, do whatever they can, get some kind of emotional response. And Deontay did the right thing by not really giving Tyson Fury the kind of feedback that Fury was looking for in terms of real anger and frustration. You didn't really see that from Deontay Wilder. Now, Wilder kept on talking about Fury cheated, and Fury is trying to play to that as well. I mentioned it in a previous video where Fury's like, okay, if you want to say I cheated, then I'm going to play on that paranoia. Yeah, I did cheat. Everything's true. He came out and started saying that. But even then, Deontay didn't really take the bait in the way that Tyson Fury was looking for. So, yeah, I think the energy was flat all round because Deontay was far less emotional than normal. Tyson Fury didn't really have much to work with. He didn't have a guy that was really biting at the stuff he was saying. So it was just a kind of weird, flat energy all the way. Now, as far as who this benefits, I personally think it benefits Deontay more. I think that Deontay is going to come out and try and be a little bit more technical. He's going to come out and try and be a little bit more shrewd about what he's doing. And Tyson Fury might actually have to figure Deontay out a little bit, because in the first fight, there was really nothing, the second fight, there's really nothing to figure out. Deontay was just looking for a big right hand. Tyson Fury pushed him back with a jab and didn't let him get any purchase on it, didn't let him get him any momentum or any leverage on that shot, right? Kept him on the back foot, took away his main weapon, and that was it. Just beat him up. In this fight here, Deontay might actually use some footwork. You know, if Malik Scott has been teaching him anything, Malik Scott was a slick fighter, so he must have been able to impart some type of knowledge about movement and how to get away from a fighter when he's doing certain things, and just change the mindset a little bit. because Deontay Wilder's mindset in that rematch was just go forward and destroy, and he couldn't do it. There was no plan B in his own mind. So for this fight, they surely would have been working on a plan B. And one thing which Tyson Fury has lost here, I think David Hay talked about this, maybe Matthew Macklin and a couple others, is the element of surprise. Because everybody, well, let me not say everybody, but the vast majority of people, including me for sure, were shocked by Tyson Fury's tactics in the second fight. I know he spoke about going forward and attacking Deontay Wilder from the opening bell, but very few believed he would actually do that. I certainly thought he was going to box, irrespective of what he was saying before the fight. But no, he actually came out and stuck it on Deontay Wilder, and I'm sure Wilder was absolutely shocked by that. He looked shocked in the fight. So Wilder and his team know better now in terms of what Tyson Fury is capable of doing. And I think that that will result in a little bit of a more cagey fight. And I'm not going to give my prediction now, but I've said over the past few months, since last year, that I'm expecting a more competitive fight this time around than we saw in the second fight. So anyway, that's my impression of the press conference. Kind of flat energy. At the end of the day, it is a trilogy that nobody wanted, at least not right now. So I think that is also manifesting in the press conferences or what have you, where there isn't as much energy, there isn't as much, fire between the fighters as there was last time out. So, and Tyson Fury, again, he likes to get his opponents emotionally invested in a fight. Once they're emotionally invested, he's got them. That's how he feels. Very similar to Muhammad Ali's psychology. That's what he liked to do. He liked to try and get you riled up, get you angry, get you frustrated. And then he would go in the ring, cool as a cucumber. And he boxed rings around you. That was his arena. That was his world of the trash talk and gold in you and all that kind of stuff. And if you bit, you got problems with Ali, right? The fighters who didn't bite, the fighters who didn't go for his trash talk tended to be the ones who did a bit better against him or even beat him. But the ones who got really frustrated, generally, they played into Ali's hands. Yeah. Same for Tyson Fury. So Deontay's doing the right thing. And I'm sure he'll have people telling him what to do. I'm sure that the idea in the first press conference, the kickoff press conference for this trilogy fight, of Deontay just putting his headphones on and not even engaging or not talking at all, I don't think that was Deontay's idea. I'm sure that was a member of his team that would have put that in his ear and said, don't talk to the guy. Maybe not to that extreme. Maybe he overplayed it a little bit, but I'm sure somebody put that in his head. Deontay has very few thoughts of his own. Very, very few thoughts of his own. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this press conference. What did you read into it? In one of my Discord servers, Hatman and the Gang, because I got a few Discord servers. I got Hatman Boxing, which is one Discord server for people that are on the boxing tier on my Patreon. And then I've got Hatman and the Gang, which is for people that are on the Hatman Hot Topics tier. The Hatman and the Gang Discord server is much bigger. It's got over 300 members. And in that one, in the boxing channel, there was, I think it was Stacks, who was saying that he thought Tyson Fury looked very rattled in this press conference. Personally, I don't think Tyson Fury looked rattled at all. To me, he looked a bit flat because he wasn't getting the kind of emotional response he wanted from Wilder. And maybe in a Derek Chisora kind of way, Tyson Fury needs some type of animosity to get himself sharp for a fight. He needs some kind of tension. If there isn't tension there, maybe he feels like his performance is not going to be where he wants it to be. Some fighters are like that. They actually need tension. They need animosity. When they don't have that, they tend to be a bit flat. They tend to be a bit lackadaisical. So let's see what happens here with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in a trilogy fight. Looking forward to it on Saturday. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.